Hello, I'm David Groninger in Seattle, Washington. Tonight is December 8th, 2015. It's raining outside. I've come back from a walk, and now I'm going to give my 10-minute message. Each day I ask myself a question. I ask, what is a 10-minute message that might help 10 million people? And then I write down the ideas I get, and then I pick from those ideas and write a talk. Or I just keep it in my head and out it comes. And I set the alarm clock for 10 minutes to keep myself short. So the idea that came to me today in, how can I help 10 million people in a 10-minute message is simply this. There's a book by Napoleon Hill called The Law of Success. It's like the principles of success that Jack Canfield wrote. It's a set of principles or laws, guidelines, fundamental truths, you might say, that the people who are successful, they seem to have in common. Like if you took 1,000 people who are successful in any given field and you kind of identify the common things they have, you'll find 5, 6, or 7 things that almost every one of these people have in common. And you'll call those the principles that relate to their success or the causes for their success. And then people can study these things in any field that they want to achieve success in. And if they do likewise and develop these skills as well, they have a better chance of becoming successful than just trying it without the study of it. Well, Napoleon Hill wrote this book in about 1928, and it took him 20 years to write it. It's called The Law of Success. And he basically talked about 17 different principles or laws of success by studying maybe 500 successful people of his time. That is between the years of 1908 and 1928. People like, Thomas Edison and Henry Ford, people that were really making great contributions to the world and to the United States. Well, the value of understanding these principles is the synergistic connection that they have. In other words, I think that one of the reasons people do not take the time and effort to study these books on how to be successful is they think that a strategy of success exists independently and might have a limited effectiveness. But you see, when you study a group or a series or a set of principles, a set of strategies, and you work these things together, then each one helps the other one and each one becomes more stronger. In fact, the more you strengthen one of the principles, then the more you strengthen all of the rest of them. So when you look at success as an ever-growing experience, now it's worth investing the time and effort in being a student of success. But if you think that the success is just studying one thing and hoping that it'll work, and maybe it won't, but it's limited, then it's not as exciting as the idea that maybe your success is almost unlimited if you understand the synergy of the success principles. And of course, synergy simply means that 1 + 1 is much greater than 2. In synergy with success principles, 1 + 1 could be 50 or 100. Now I'm just going to read these success principles, and an entire book could be written. 100 books could be written on each one of these principles. So the idea of this talk here is not to try to cover everything, but just to merely read these 17 principles and to just go into a little bit of detail only on the synergy in how these things are worked together and how each one can become stronger. And I'm hoping to do this so that to invite you or interest you as a listener in being a student of success in whatever it is that you want to be successful in. And here's the first principle that he identified: a definiteness of purpose. In other words, knowing what it is you want to do. Second, he called it the mastermind alliance. And basically it's just when two people get together and they have the same purpose and they work together, or two or more people, then each one of those persons becomes a little bit more effective. They're supported by the encouragement, and also they share wisdom, other people's knowledge. So there's a lot of synergy just within this one principle here on the Mastermind Alliance. Number 3, applied faith. By applied faith, he means not just believing in something, but active faith. That means taking action, acting as though it's going to work out. You don't have the evidence in front of you yet, but you're acting like you're going to have the evidence. Then next, going the extra mile, doing a little bit more than you're paid for. Number 5, having a pleasing personality, getting along with people, being willing to be patient with other people, and not trying to exert your will or your beliefs upon others, but being kind of a middle of the road person, and still be effective with people. A pleasing personality. Number 6, personal initiative. Making the first move, taking the first step, taking action yourself, not waiting for people to give you orders, but just go ahead and get started. 7, a positive mental attitude. 8, enthusiasm. 9, self-discipline. 10, accurate thinking. 11, controlled attention. 12, teamwork. 13, adversity and defeat. That is, learning from defeat, and learning, and when you're when you have adversity, being willing to be persistent and rise above the adversity. Allow adversity to make you stronger, and allow defeat not to defeat you, but to learn from your failures, so as you try it the next time, you'll do it a little bit better. Creative vision. Health. Budgeting your time and your money. And habits, developing positive habits. So these are 17 principles that Napoleon Hill had identified, that these 500 successful people that he interviewed between the years of 1908 to 1928 when he wrote the book. These are the principles that these people had in common. And it's worthwhile to take each one of these principles and to see how you can incorporate it in your life. The principles themselves, you might look at them like the columns on a building like the Parthenon. They support. They're a part of a supportive structure. They can help create kind of an overall success for you. But the synergy amongst these principles is like this. For example, take the first one, a definiteness of purpose, knowing what you want to do, taking on a single objective. If it's not the right one, you'll soon find out, then move on to another one. But the idea is that you're deciding on something that you want to do. And if you combine that then with the Mastermind Alliance, that is working with other people on it, now you use the wisdom for other people as you go focused on what you want to do. The more wisdom and the more support and encouragement you have from other people, then the easier it's going to be for you in order to go that way. It's kind of like a triangle, and you're the very front of the triangle, or like a spearhead, and the force behind you is the knowledge and encouragement from others, but you're kind of directing the way. And so therefore, when you have this Mastermind Alliance, it's making your definiteness of purpose more powerful and more effective. Now the third one, applied faith, when you start just acting as though you're going to do it, not waiting for evidence before you act, but act assuming that the evidence sometime is going to show up. When you take this action, you're going to be a bit more of an inspiration to the people in your Mastermind Alliance. You're going to be more quick to even find people who can work on your team and use their knowledge and skills in a cooperative effort. And also, on the definiteness of purpose, the sooner you get into action with this applied faith, then the quicker you're going to find out if your idea is sound or not. You can always change your plan, but you've got to get into action and get it and try it out fast. It's kind of like trying on clothes. You could think for a long time, I wonder if this piece of clothing would look good on me. I wonder if this would be a nice fit. And you could wonder for a long time, but until you actually put it on and see, oh my goodness, this looks hideous, or hey, you know what? I really like how this looks. you sometimes have to take the action before you find out. Well, what do you know about that? You know, talk about a short talk. I'll just list one more: going the extra mile, doing a little bit more than you're paid for. When you go the extra mile or do something a little bit more than is expected, you're going to be more of a valuable person on your mastermind alliance. People are going to appreciate the fact that you being on a team with, in teamwork, and you being a team member, the fact that you are willing to put in more than they expect of you, then they're gonna support you maybe more than you expect that they will. So all the more easy things are going to be. So when you take all of these principles and you just take one and start to work on it, and maybe take another week and work on another one, you're going to find that as you go, that the very first ones that you've been developing are going to get stronger because they are kind of supported by some of the other ones. It's called the synergy of success. And I really believe that if more people understood that how easy success can be, if you really understand how these things can work together and make it easy for you, it's kind of like the cogs of a machine, or all the parts of a car. You know, you might call one strategy in life just maybe one part of a car. Each part might be effective in itself, but when all the parts are working together, now you have something else. You've got a machine that can really go. So in your success, in whatever you want to succeed in, consider being a student of this success. Identify the principles, the underlying laws or strategies that work in the area that you want to be successful in, and see how all of these principles work together. See how each one helps the other one and work them in harmony. And if you don't really know what the principles of success are in what you're doing, then read books like the one that Jack Canfield wrote called The Principles of Success, or this book, even as old as 1928, from Napoleon Hill, called The Law of Success. And I think that when you do this, you're going to start to, it'll stimulate you to identify specifically your own principles of success. Plus, you're going to see where some of the things that these people already identified, you're going to see how you can use them, tailor fit them to you. Well, I've completed my talk for the day. I don't know if it's going to help 10 million people, but I know it's been 10 minutes long, slightly longer. And I know that if I give 1,000 of these talks, 10-minute messages that might help 10 million people, it'll only take 3 years to do it. And I have a belief that one of these talks out of the 1,000 is actually going to help the 10 million people. Some talks are better than others. I'm doing this to learn how to talk. Sometimes I'm tired and I don't come across so well. Other times I have plenty of energy and am more focused. But I decided I'm going to give the talk every day, no matter how my voice is, no matter how I feel. I'm just going to do it every day. And I think one of them is going to help 10 million people. And I hope that this talk might have been of some value to you. So this is David Groninger in Seattle, Washington, saying thank you.